Hi folks, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to The Addicted Bookworm. Alrighty, so I have officially hit 50 books, and yes, I know, it is only, um, only March, and I've already hit 50 books. How the heck do I do it? Simply, I make the time to actually read. And also I'm not on my phone. Alright. So once again, as I said the other some amount of times before, um, I I know that not everybody can read this many books in like 2.5, like almost 3 months, and I understand that part. Or like, yeah, 3 months. I understand that part, and I'm going to say that even though my original goal was 12 books, and I told you guys last year that I was actually going to exceed that amount because I just cannot stop reading books, I am actually shocked that I read 50 books. And it's like, am I going to go exceed the amount that I read last year? I don't know. But here's the thing. There is a difference between getting a book and knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to read it, or getting a book just because it's hot on Book Talk and you're never going to get to it. All the books that I got are books that I 100% intend to read. So that's the thing that people have to understand is, yes, it doesn't hurt to go out and buy books. I am not against people buying books. But if you know that you're never going to get to that book, why in the world are you buying that book? Authors want people to read their books. And I will tell you what really helps me to read more books is my e-reader. I read raunchy, sexually explicit manga. I read mysteries. I read horror. I read adventure. I read things that I personally want to read. I don't rely on a algorithm or on things that are popular to decide what I'm going to read. Um, here. That is just like who I am as a person. Alright, so I'm going to tell you about the books I've read. And one I have not posted on here, but it went onto my horror channel. Alright. So, we have Carl's Doomsday Scenario by Matt Dinniman, which was actually book number, book number 46. Okay. So, Carl's Doomsday Scenario is the second book in the Dungeon Crawling Carl series. And this is entirely about what happens on the third floor, where Carl and Princess Donut choose their race and their class. And it has some very interesting effects on the game. But what happens during this is that we find out that there is some actual suffering in this game, and also discovers that the company can create life forms just for the purpose of the game, which is absolutely sickening. And Carl is not happy about this at all, and I personally don't blame him for it. Sorry. So, he has to battle this. He has to battle this circus, and part of how he survives it is he makes a deal that he will be that show's primary special guest. Basically, every segment that they have, he's going to be on it. And of course, that allows him to survive. Because there's a secondary story going on. We also discover that Beatrice actually does love Carl, and she wanted to exchange Donut for another cat, which would have been devastating to this little creature. We find out that Mordecai actually does not have control over what form that he actually takes during the game, and he ends up becoming Princess Donut's manager, which does give him more freedom to move around. We also see that Carl is very much the kind of person that looks at these people and go, hey, if you don't like your government, you can always overthrow them and have a new government. This is a very American ideal that he's given to these people. And what happens? They try to kill him. But then they make a mistake and hit the wrong one, which is, We also discover that there is a vampire in this book, which is, weird. We also find out the old people in book 1 survived. And I'm like, yay! The elderly people survived. I am so rooting for these people. And yeah, hopefully they will come back and they will be all there. But I'm happy. This young man is so loyal and so determined to protect these elderly people. So hopefully they will appear in the 3rd book and everything. Overall, I enjoyed this book. This book was really, really great, and the audiobook was wonderful as well. I am actually going to keep the ebook and the audiobook long after the series is over, because I probably will want to go back and reread the series again. It is just an amazing one. And then the next one that I read was Not So Average Murder by Maggie Day. Now, Maggie Day is a great author. She writes quite a number of different kinds of books. I believe this is book 7 in the Country Store Mystery. And this time, we're in California or some Pacific coastal city. I think it's California. And we have somebody that ends up dead. And we find out that it was because of something that he ate. And there's a reason that he got the item in his food that he wasn't supposed to eat. I believe I gave this book 4 stars or 3 stars on Goodreads. I deleted the book from my Kindle because I no longer wanted to. I had already read it. No desire to read it again. And all in all, it was a fair book, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I'm just really not a fan of people going out of town, and I know I'm doing it my book series, but I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it. Then we have, scroll up. We have Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is an English translation of the Japanese original. And this is, I believe, there's 4 stories in it. And the last one is Mother and Child. I just remembered that one. But you have this cafe that stays cool despite the heat. And they have the ability to send people backwards or forwards in time, where they get to meet people that they regret some of the things they had said or done, and they try to make amends before the coffee gets cold. Absolutely loved this book. I know there's people out there that don't like this book, and that's totally fine, but I personally absolutely love this book. I do intend to, at some point this year to buy the book. I'm thinking about more of getting it as still get it as a digital edition. I'm actually thinking about putting it on my Nook and everything. So, yeah, I am super excited about that. I definitely am going to check out the second book from the library. But for right now, I've got I think I've got like 3 books from the library, and I'm just not going to check out another book. Alright, the next one is The Haunting of Gillespie House by Tracy Coates. This is a book that I've not posted a review of. It went onto my horror channel. But this is about a girl called Ellie who is house sitting for the Gillespie family. This is an old family, and we find out some pretty dark and nasty things about the founder of this, who built the house, even though he kind of had help to have it built. He was the head of a cult about 200 some years ago, so probably around the time of the American Revolution, and he was involved in some dark occult shit. And and it turned out that his children, even though they were terrorized by this guy and everything, they ended up doing pretty well for themselves, which is always a good thing. And we find out that Guinevere, I believe she was Jonathan's wife, actually locked him in his own mausoleum, where he basically starved to death. But the eeriness of this book, this is why I like Tracy Coates as an author, because she's able to scare the living hee-haw out of you, and that's what I like. I think Tracy Coates is an Australian author, or she might be an American author. I have to double check, but Tracy Coates does a really great job in giving you the creepy. Definitely. I actually have the Haunting of Blackthorn or Blackstone. Hold on, let me look on my Goodreads app here. See here. Oh, that's cute. Haunting of Blackwood House. It's like right there. All right. So that is another Tracy Coates book that I'm reading. I have about I archived Gillespie House, and I have like Blackstone and another ebook. I actually purchased the was it Haunting of Ashton House? I think that's the title of it, because I have it as a ebook and I wanted to buy it as a physical edition, which I do actually have. And I'm also going to be getting the ebooks of like Craven House and House of Secrets and something else. But I'm going to get to those. I'm going to get to those at some point. But anyways, so, as I said, the atmosphere of the book is really dark, but also it's about the spirit of Guinevere trying to get Ellie's attention so that she can help her fight this guy who's now, trying to get out of his prison and everything. And there is a little girl that ended up missing. Her name is Hannah. She is dead, unfortunately, and Ellie's the one who finds her body. And what ends up happening is not only does Ellie get the reward for finding Hannah's body, because that was what her parents had set up the conditions, but also she gets to live in the house, which is now totally free of any kind of paranormal stuff. Yeah, she doesn't have to worry about money, doesn't have to worry about a place to live. So the Gillespies were very nice to her and treated her very well. Gave that 5 stars on Goodreads. Tracy Coates books definitely deserve 5 stars. I've never had a bad Tracy Coates book ever. And then the next one is, of course, The Secret Book and Scone Society by Ellery Adams. I already did a review of that book, and so I'm just going to end it on that note. These books, some of them were okay, and a couple of them were really good. And and once again, I'm going to say this. The only reason that I read as many books as I do in a month is because I set time out of my day to actually do it. I actually go, okay, I have this many hours to read this book, and I have a preset goal of how many chapters I'm going to read in a single day. Also, I have the ability to separate plots between books, so that's also a plus in my mind's eye. Anyways, it was a good goal to get to 50 books, and now I'm going to move up to 55. I'm kind of interested in seeing how many books am I actually going to read throughout the year, and yeah. Alrighty, so that is my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.